So CNY is this week for those of you that are going towards CNY, because I know it's super cool, but it is all Linux today. So if you hate Linux and are going to despise your time here, I don't know, leave.
This is Max Kirby, a sophomore studying digital forensics at the University at Albany. Max is a part of the Cyber Defense Organization, a student-run club aimed to prepare its members for the world of cybersecurity. Max and Dante Kinsey are team captains on the club, as well as Linux administrators on the club's competition team. They create the team's roster, as well as get the team ready to compete.
So we brought 18 people to CNY. That is a huge group of people. Unfortunately, I couldn't put the picture on there because it was on my phone and I'm stupid.
The club has two fundamental goals. The first, to hold weekly workshops where students of all majors can learn cybersecurity techniques.
We also remote desktoped into a lot of yours, and we had creds that were...
So the second thing you were doing is changing the port of SSH to port 50.
The club's second goal is to compete in cyber defense competitions. Liam Smith and Anthony Provenzano have been with the team since 2016.
My name is Liam Smith. I am the president of the Cyber Defense Organization. I am a senior in the digital forensics major.
My name is Anthony Provenzano. I'm a senior in the digital forensics department, and I'm the vice president of the Cyber Defense Organization.
So the club really started with our founder, Jared Rudeau, who came from a community college, and in his community college he had competed in the CCDC competition in a different region. And so when he moved here, he wanted to bring that experience and that opportunity to the University of Albany.
We started to see actually a lot of interests in the club, and it kind of it rolled from there. It was like a domino effect. The more students we had, the more notice we got on campus, the more we were able to do.
CCDC is the Collegiate Cyber Defense Competition. In other words, what the Cyber Defense Organization spends months preparing for. A cyber defense competition is generally when a collegiate team shows up and together form one of many blue teams, the rest of the blue teams being other colleges. Each blue team is given a network of machines, and each machine running a vital service. Now, there's the red team. At CCDC, this is a team comprised of the country's best hackers, coming from the military, government, and the private sector. Their only job? To hack the blue team until those vital services are down. The blue team that keeps their services up and defends their network the best wins the competition.
A cybersecurity competition is very much a hackers versus defenders competition.
Red versus blue team competitions, or competitive cyber competition, is basically where you have a group of skilled hackers trying to break into a team of skilled defenders. It just happens to be, in our scenario, it's extremely skilled hackers versus a bunch of undergrads.
You show up, the red team, the hackers, they're already in, they're already making mayhem, and it's your job to, over the course of 5 hours, sometimes 8 hours over 2 days, operate that network, to kick them out, to find them, to catch them, and to fully eradicate them from your machines.
That's kind of the thrill of it, is that you get to have this sort of unreal challenge that you wouldn't have anywhere else. That's why it's interesting to me. Never will you actually get to go head to head against hackers or professional pen testers from like Amazon, FBI, FireEye, right? It doesn't happen except here. First you have to qualify, then you go to regionals, then by miracle you go to nationals, and only one school gets to go from each region. But first you have to qualify. None of that will happen if you don't qualify. My freshman year, when we attempted to go to CCDC, we were just top tier awful. It's a part of history we don't mention.
In 2017, the Cyber Defense Organization attended CCDC for the first time. They competed in the qualifying round, but their CCDC run was ended quickly. In their first attempt, they did not advance to regionals, but they continued to attend CCDC every year since.
It was our second time doing it. We were kind of going in blind again, but we had some people that had more technical skill or a little bit more background, and by some miracle we qualified. We had no idea how to prepare for regionals. We were bad. We'd go to the lab every day, install random things, break them, and somewhat fix them, and we would call it a day for practice. We get to regionals, we sit down on the computers, and we just get absolutely demolished. The first day, just demolished in the competition. There was parts of the network that we didn't even touch because we didn't know that they existed. We go up to the coordinator afterwards, who was kind of like a little bit helping us, and we ask him, can you tell us where we came? Like, we just want to know, like, where did we rank? And out of not only the teams that had to qualify, but the teams that were then at regionals, we came 5th out of the 10 in the Northeast US.
Last year, the CCDC team, we qualified out of the 20 teams roughly that attempted to qualify. We were one of the 9 selected to go to Maine. There at Maine, we competed in the regionals where we placed, roughly middle of the pack. So in our entire region, against, RIT, Champlain, Buffalo, West Point, Harvard, Columbia, NYU, Syracuse, all these very good programs. We placed roughly in the 25th percentile.
That kind of gave me and everyone else on the team the motivation to just keep going, because we knew it wasn't just impossible to do this.
Qualifiers was on the 25th. This is kind of the first step into getting into the whole competition itself. It's kind of nerve-wracking knowing that several schools are not going to be able to make it into the competition. So when we get in there, we are shaking. We're worried that there's the possibility of not making it. So we practice every week, right? We're trying to harden our not only just the basics of the technical skills on each operating system, but we're working on our communication skills, how we can better our organizational skills. It's definitely a lot of work, and it's something that we put a lot of time into, making sure that we are ready to go for qualifiers.
Year 9, if we're all called earlier, I'm out here earlier. Everyone prep, let's get those forms. Prints in the thing, yes.
Prints. When's
Linux, we pause for 5 minutes to give me a to-do.
5-minute plan.
I assume so.
Or I could just put a sub-bullet under that, but all caps test.
Okay.
The other thing is probably working with the RIT team we already talked about.
You know anything? John? To-do? What you got?
They got 5 rules. 3 create a backup script that basically says backup conflict.
Is it Bash? Need help?
It'll probably be Bash. It's
I know Linux good.
Almost 9 o'clock. Hopefully we should be getting our, check-in, whatever, soon. Welcoming check is at 9:30. Take this time, prep your last minute stuff, do all printed stuff. Everything should be ready at this point. Biggest thing, remember to talk to each other, remember to communicate. I will be writing our stuff up there. I'll be forcing you to talk to me. Keep on track. Try to watch those times for those injects too. They're gonna sneak up on us, especially those big ones. Apparently we've been given maybe a joke for the double-digit injects, but we'll see. We're ready for 20 injects, we're ready for 5 injects. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna activate the gauntlet because we're going to regionals.
The clock hits 9. As soon as we get the access to our virtual machines, right, we're off and running. Starting, with our 5-minute plans, our first initial things we want to do to secure our operating systems, document as much as we can as quickly as possible. It's hectic at first before you kind of start getting into the groove and getting a little more comfortable with the environment. As soon as it starts, everyone's on their computers, everyone's communicating, everyone's trying to get the best possible to start it off with.
Max,
Yes.
are we setting up elk stack and file beat before they give us an inject, or we'll start adding inject time?
Assuming that it's not. Oh, you mean setting the forwarders on it?
Yeah. Because literally, because he requires me to do something,
Yep.
and I've got other stuff to do, I can add him to the list, but I don't want to make him wait.
It was the same bullshit on all the machines, but we need to have our designated computers and be able to say, all right, I found something, it's bad, find it on these machines and not have that thrown out to the ether.
But other than that, I think they have all their services.
You want to look something up on your computer?
Liam talked about how
Was it internal what? It was like internal, what was it, internal connection error?
As soon as the competition came to an end, we were looking around, we were like thinking like, how did we do, right? You have that kind of like mindset where it's like, damn, we could have done better, we could have done worse.
Everyone, zero in. Linux, guys, zero in. First, while we have this all fresh in our head, I want to talk it out. First, observers notes, then we can go competing notes and discussion. Nick's gonna take notes for us.
Liam, I thought it was really good. There was a point where you had a moment to break. Like you finished an inject or something, you had a moment. And then you immediately went to ask Alec and Caleb what they were doing to get an update. That was really good. Say, Max, you did keep your team updates kind of on a regular schedule, which is actually really good. And you were kind of quick and concise. It wasn't something that was just like, you were hovering there for a little bit. It was just like a quick little like, hey, give me an update. I want you to work on this. And if someone didn't have a direction, because I know later on in the competition, John was like, what do I do? You were just like, just do this. And that was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we're never gonna be prepared for everything. That's if we were, then
then you'd be a real life soccer.
Exactly.
Let's just hope.
Listen, if we make it, we make it.
Whatever,
if we don't,
it's done.
We don't.
It's done. Nothing we can do now.
I mean,
see all these tabs?
I don't want everyone to be stressing a lot about it. It's done. We did it. We did the best we could. Now let's clean up and leave.
After a few weeks, we got the notice saying that we were one of the schools that made it. So we were very excited. We have our group chat blowing up. Like everyone's, in all caps, like, wow, we made it, congrats, yeah. And now we can't let the happiness, that emotion of winning get to us so quickly, because, now we got to take that steps in preparing for regionals, right? We went right to, figuring out first kind of like a debrief of how we did personally. We all sat around and we said, hey, where was our weaknesses? Where can we improve? And we kind of had it all written down. Once we kind of knew our weaknesses and where we needed to work, we went right to the practices every week. We were not only dedicating so much of our, time, but, like our mental states were just going into this because we really wanted to win it now. Everything was on the line for us, so we're putting all of our work into this, all of our time, everything. And then unfortunately, this happens.
Across the world, the coronavirus pandemic has now killed more than 10,000 people.
And a number of colleges and universities are suspending their study abroad programs and recalling students to the U.S.
A number of schools across the tri-state area continue to either cancel classes or move to remote learning.
All of it to ensure everyone's safety during the coronavirus outbreaks. Overseas, the numbers from Italy tonight only worsening. In fact, this was the number today, 627 people dying in just the past 24 hours, the worst yet.
That Italy has now surpassed China's death toll, which is extraordinary. 3,405 people have died in Italy.
As soon as the coronavirus started blowing up and thousands of people are starting getting affected, it raised a lot of concern, and especially in academia and education. Schools are starting to shut down, and we were worrying what would the best case of action be when it comes to CCDC, is it going to get canceled? That uncertainty that was so similar to when if we were going to make it to qualifiers or to regionals came back, and in this a little bit more dangerous regard, right? Now we're worrying what's the safest option if we're going to go to CCDC. A lot of SUNY schools are closing, and it's just spreading like crazy, and now it's a pandemic, right? So we're freaking out on the inside, and at the same time we're worrying about the future. So it's just a lot of hysteria.
A lot going on, and this is not how I wanted to see this happening. I wanted to see this happening in 2 months from now with a nice pizza party in one of those rooms where we could all hang out, talk to everyone, and really send off this club with its first big generation. That's not happening. It's completely out of our control, and we have no idea if we're going to be back in a few weeks, or in a month, or never for some of us.
So we had an immediate, discussion saying, at this time, CCDC wasn't canceled yet. So we were saying, should we go?
As of right now, Any CCDC is currently happening. I had a captain and coaches meeting last night with the organization, and the first thing they said was essentially, it is going on. We have it on good authority that there are a lot of schools that cannot go. I will read this out to make sure we're all on the same page. Champlain, not going. Northeastern, not going. Pace, we're not sure yet. RIT, not going. West Point, don't know yet. We're Albany. University of Buffalo, not going. University of Maine, they're hosting it. University of Massachusetts, Lowell, not going. University of New Haven, not going. I understand this is a tempting situation, that this could throw us in not first place. You know, it could either throw us in the first place or second place, which is a tempting thing to have. I want to make it clear that this is a serious situation, and we are people, and we have people who care about us, and people who can get this, and to me that is the most important thing. When we talk about our candid feelings, just please keep in mind, try not to let the fact that there are only 4 schools, including us, that can be going, influence your decision. What I want to do now is I want all of us to kind of go around, and no pressure, you can keep it fucking 10 seconds for I don't care. I just need to gauge where everyone's at about actually attending this with coronavirus, with everything that's going on right now.
It got to the point where we just kind of went around and we said, hey, yes or no, should we go to CCDC up in Maine? And, you know, we went around, everyone kind of shared their opinion saying, you know, yes or no, because of this. Everyone valued their opinion, everyone, you know, said like, yeah, okay, we get that. And eventually we came to the decision of deciding not to go to CCDC due to health risks and, you know, just being responsible. We told the coordinators of, you know, any CCDC saying, hey, we are not going to be attending the competition. And a lot of universities are now saying, hey, don't come back from spring break. Everyone's telling all their students to go home. At that point, we pretty much got the heads up from any CCD that it was going to be canceled.
On March 11th, the Cyber Defense Organization chose to withdraw from CCDC, as many other schools were doing so as well. Several days after, the Northeast Collegiate Cyber Defense Competition suspended the competition. On March 16th, organizers announced that the competition would actually be held remotely, so students could compete from home without having to worry about the coronavirus. The team now had 5 days to prepare.
March 16th, we got an email, or on their website they posted, it was kind of everywhere, saying that any CCD was back, but it was going to be online and also on March 21st. That's 5 days after they said that. Again, we kind of went from that breather of, okay, it's canceled, let's relax a little bit, to now, crap, it's 5 days from now. We're scrambling now to kind of make sure we have our last minute things done, and now trying to kind of put ourselves back in that mindset of game on, you know, competition's about to start again, you know, classes are online, so everyone's mostly staying at home, and you know, we are all from different parts of New York, so it's very, you know, scrambled in terms of like finding a place to meet up. And then especially we received notice from the University of Albany saying, hey, you have to leave campus if you live on campus. If you live in one of the dorms, like, we're evicting everyone out. Even if we did have hopes of, you know, maybe meeting on campus, it was pretty much gone at that point. We decided it's just gonna have to happen, you know, even though we're all in different locations, we need to hop online, you know, hop some kind of communication channel and, you know, kind of discuss as a team preparation for the competition itself. And when we get to the competition itself, you know, it's all going to be through those voice channels, miles away from each other, but hopefully we can still have that communication that we wanted and efficiency that we prepared for.
On March 21st, the Cyber Defense Organization competed in its 3rd ever CCDC regional round. Unfortunately, the team did not advance to the national round, but for the first time in its history, the competitive cyber team representing the University of Albany came in 3rd place. While this was an amazing accomplishment, it's not exactly how the seniors saw it happening.
Undergrad, right, that's 4 years, and so in those 4 years, you know, we're building connections with people, you know, we're finding friends, some of us are even finding relationships. You dedicate everything into school and you expect at the end to, you know, have those farewells to people, you know, have the time to prepare to say goodbye to people. You know, if you have, you know, maybe faculty that, you know, you wanted to say goodbye to, write little letters to them. Walking across the stage, right, it means a lot to a senior, because, you know, it's kind of in a way shows, you know, I did it. I went through all these classes, I did all this work, and just to be able to cross this stage, you know, is kind of like, you know, crossing that like life goal of I did it, I went to college. And having that robbed from us and having those farewells that we wanted to give, you know, be pulled back by a few months, and not being able to see the people that, you know, you've grown with, it's very destructive to, you know, to the mental health, in my opinion. And it, you know, makes me worry that the people that I've, you know, grown with, I'm never going to see for a long time. And it's a lot to kind of take in, and especially this all happened in like 2 weeks notice, so it's a lot to kind of take in at the same time with all that going on. So it definitely was a horrible way to end the senior year. You're getting stripped of the farewell to your friends and graduation. It just was horrible to like work with. When you are kind of leaving a team and you have that farewell speech to the team, when you say you are the next, you know, group to go forward, you know, go farther than we did, you know, you're giving them you're empowering them to kind of go farther, and them hearing you talk like that and saying, you know, I have a lot of hope for you guys, you know, do better than we did, like they'll keep that, and they'll keep that in their hearts forever. And the fact that we weren't able to deliver that to them because of, you know, being cut short and being sent home, I feel like might not help. You know, it might put a negative effect on the team. It keeps my chin up knowing that, you know, we built a foundation for this team. We built that family. I only hope that, you know, they continue with that communication.